Hello, and welcome to Gouda.Murder podcast. I'm your host, Keely, and with me is Kelly and...
I'm Bree!
Coda can't be with us right now because she's probably on a flight to Colorado or some bullshit. Hi,
Yeah,
Coda.
some bullshit.
We love you!
We love you.
But,
Traveling, the coolest.
Yeah, she's gonna do something fun. We'll be with her shortly, but we gotta work tomorrow because some of us are adults.
Some of us have things like make Jello shots and work, whatever.
Yeah, so I would love to tell a fun little tale while I make a million Jello shots for this super fun bachelorette trip we're going on.
Wow.
And I would love for you to join me. Mostly Kelly. Bree's kind of stuck there with it. So
this
we
is
go
my
camping a lot.
better time.
Just something to kill the time, I guess, while I do this with a pancake mixer.
It's perfect. Perfect.
We
Jello
camp a lot, right? And
yeah.
Austin and I have the camping van. Oh, sorry, I'm going backwards.
Go ahead.
And I have this nightmare, and I've had it for multiple days in a row, that we go camping, and behind us, where our van is set up, is like a dark wooded area, and it's just too dark for you to see, even during the day. So, in this dream I have, I hear a noise behind the van, and I peek through the blind, and there's someone standing there with a dog. And I look at the guy, and I freak out, and I close the blind, and then I open it back up, and he's gone. And it happens a couple days in a row in the dream. Just every single time he's just there, and he just keeps getting closer and closer to the van until one day I open the blind, and he's there, and he's trying to pull on the door handle, and he's trying to open the trunk where our heads are at. And every time I get closer to the dream, there's a couple days where he's fucking got the door open, and I'm freaking out, and I try looking for the gun, and I can't find it, and he tries to grab me. Some days he does get me. Other days he just kind of sits there and just watches, like looks at me. It's very weird. And it's just very intense, and I'll wake up in like a panic. Like, I mean, I'm sweating, and Austin's over here like, dude, are you good? I can't breathe.
You good? You stirring in your sleep, bro? You good?
Yeah. And I mean, he sleeps through everything. So the fact that he's like, hey, he wakes up. You sleep okay? No. It just, it really gets me. But it's like, when we went on our Wisconsin trip a couple weeks ago, I had this dream again. However, like the way our camp was set up is Bree's door was facing the opposite of mine, and he was standing in between our campsite and theirs. And in my dream, one night he'd come and he'd stand by Bree's camper door, and I'd bang on the van door and get his attention to leave them alone. And then apparently come after me, I guess. I don't know. Take me. Take me instead. It's me.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's like I can't ever get a visual of the man's face, but he's like a short, stocky guy. He has a baseball cap on, and he always has either this like old raggedy dog, like Grammy's dog Annie, but worse.
Yeah. I love old crotchy dog.
Yes, or it's like a big bulky like Rottweiler or something. And the nights that he gets me or comes close to like opening the door, it's with the raggedy dog. You know, the nights that he's just like standing there like administering, watching, he's with the big dog. And I was like, I need a dream analysis reader to tell me, what am I eating or what am I doing wrong to have this dream? I mean, maybe once in a while having the dream, but having it back to back multiple nights in a row. Girl, my therapist don't even know. My therapist like, do you need another therapist? I was like, girl, maybe.
It's too advanced.
So, anyway, pretty short, sweet. Not sweet. But to the point is
Yeah,
that's my nightmare. You
some
got any crazy
sinister
nightmares?
some sinister thoughts.
I think the only thing that sticks out is have either one of you ever had sleep paralysis? It's where you wake up and you're awake, but your body's not awake. It still thinks you're dreaming. So you dream with your eyes open, kind of essentially. And
Okay.
I remember waking up in the middle of the night and I couldn't move. I was paralyzed. In my ceiling, there was this big black hole, and something kept peering over like the edge at me. And it was pale white with like black eyes, and I just remember laying there like, oh my god. And then I blinked and it was gone. And then all of a sudden I could feel something chewing on my hand, and it was this thing. I don't know what it was, but I swear I could feel it chewing on my hand. I couldn't move, I couldn't scream. My husband worked third at the time, so I was home alone. It was terrifying. I don't recommend.
I don't recommend bad
Zero
dream
out of
paralysis.
10.
0 out of 10.
Yeah, 0 out of 10. And usually with sleep paralysis, like you don't like like you said, your what do you want? Your body, you're awake. Your brain is like half awake, but you're still again at some point some REM because you're not hallucinating, but your mind's still in that dream state, but you're awake. You're like your eyes are open. You can see the room around you, but your body isn't awake. And I've never heard anybody say they always have ever had a good experience, because it's like that's what it is. Like it's always something frightening, like whatever it is. And it's interesting to find out, like, it's never oh, I have sleep paralysis, but I'm never scared. It's always
I love it.
you always
It's
wake up,
great.
you always wake up in some sort of panic, or you wake up, you can't move, which initiates the panic, and then your brain keeps imagining something along with it. So that's very, very interesting. So like, yeah, no, I've never had that, but nightmares, it's not necessarily true crime, but it is definitely ghoulish and something to think about that I believe everybody, experiences. Not just the three of us, but I'm sure many, 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 many more people. And so we thought, for this episode, like, it would be really interesting, kind of like do a little dive into nightmares themselves. And for me personally, like I don't get sleep paralysis, and I wouldn't say I have recurring nightmares, but I definitely have like themes, like where certain instances will happen within a dream. It's not the same dream, but I have dreams. I get bad dreams of one, like I think a common one is where your teeth start to fall out. Or like I've
When I
had
take my
multiple dreams.
retainers out.
Yeah, like I've had
I have
multiple
those.
dreams where I've been talking to somebody or some along the lines, and it's always somebody different. It's never the same exact dream, but the same situation where I reach into my mouth and my teeth are just coming out. I'm not in any pain in my dream. Nothing like traumatic necessarily is happening where I'm getting in a car crash or, anything like that. I just more or less like at one point, like I feel like my teeth are loose. And I put my hand in my mouth and my teeth just start coming out. And I can feel the holes in my teeth. I can feel the gaps between my teeth. I can like look down and see my teeth in my hand. And then that's what causes the panic, because then I'm like, oh my God, like what's happening? Like am I going to need dentures? Like what's going to happen? Like I really need this fixed. I turn into a panic like that. And I've also had situations like it's either that or I have recurring situations, which it's not necessarily scary to me in this situation. However, it has happened multiple times where I have like gum, like a mouthful of chewing gum in my mouth, and I'm like, oh, I realize it's too much. Like it's like double bubble, or like you remember like the bubble tape, like when we were younger, and it like. And you try, and of course, everybody would try to put as much as they could in their mouth and just, chew on it until it's just nothing but like this big lump of nothing. Well, I have recurring situation dreams. Again, I'm not scared, but I can't get the chewing gum out of my mouth. Like, no matter how much I dig and pull out, there's just like more in there. And I'm not suffocating. I'm not like choking or anything like that. It's just like I can just like it's just stringing out of my mouth, and I can't get it out, which is interesting. And then I got another situation I always have is like I'm always in a house I'm in a really nice house or some sort of mansion house, and I walk in and realize the room that I'm in is either some sort of like possessed, or I can like feel another being in there. I've never see it like go or like hear ghosts or anything like that, but like I immediately walk into a room and feel like, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. I need to leave this room immediately. And it's always like a fight on how am I going to leave this room? Like, even though I'm in it and I'm like, you think it's just like, oh, you just turn around. It's more or less like this ominous feeling of like, now I'm stuck here. And I can just feel like, and it's so crazy. Like, I don't see anything, but I can just immediately feel so like a presence, like getting closer and closer and like trying to just like keep me there, which that is scary. Like I do get scared with those dreams. Those dreams are probably the ones that I like would consider like a nightmare of some sort, like being in a not even like a haunted house, because like I don't see ghouls, but it's like me trying to get away from this room and like either getting pulled back into it or I have to go in there for this reason or another. I don't know, it's just interesting. And like it's, you know, definitely scary. And, you know, along with our true crime stories that we always talk about, or, you know, our ghost stories that we talk about. What is happening there?
Oh, no,
Chaos.
the pancake mixer. Oh man, I did it too much. I was a little overzealous. Sorry.
Very full. There you go. Amazing job, Keely, taking it over. See, so you know, so one of the things that I looked into nightmares is like, you know, of course, they're by definition, they're a frightening dream that can cause a strong emotional response, whether that's fear, anxiety, sadness, even you know, or panic, or you know, some sort of terror. They are they can what do you call it, impact sleep, of course, so or cause like sleep avoidance, so people don't want to go to sleep if they're experiencing nightmares or like night terrors or breathe or like, you know, a sleep paralysis. um you know, create a like a waking sense of, you know, anxiety, which can really have a lot of effects on your day-to-day life. um and which made me kind of think like, okay, like what, you know, what causes nightmares? What kind of foods cause nightmares, if there are any? And doing some cheese search, there's a lot of things that can, or, you know, experts say can have a relationship with nightmares. Um, I'm like in my cheese search or in my search, one of the I looking up food that can cause nightmares. Number one was cheese. I shit you not. 100% reason, which is why we're talking about it today, is that the very first food listed on like a list of like 20 things, like, and I just a regular Google search, food that causes nightmares, and it gives like, there was like one of the links, first links was like a list of foods. Number one on that list was cheese, which is crazy. Number two was spicy foods. There's like a few things like chocolate, alcohol, sugar, like junk food, you know, caffeine, those sort of things. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, like, what the hell? Like, you know, what about these things and my beloved cheese? And it's ironic because, you know, spicy cheese is definitely one of my absolutely favorites as well. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, what is it in these foods that causes these types of reactions in us? Or what can, like, you know, cause it apparently. So with you know, I'll go back. So with chips and like junk food stuff, you know, they can irritate the digestive tract, which can cause like a restful night's sleep. So you're not like really getting into a deeper sleep. Caffeine, of course, you know, caffeine, of course, you know, as anybody would figure out, it causes our body's metabolism to boost and in our brain activity. So, you know, people obviously drink caffeine like, oh, I'm tired. It gives your body that like jolt. So again, you're not really getting a good night's sleep. It disturbs that, which again has an effect on, you know, your restlessness or restfulness. Alcohol, an excessive amount of alcohol, which is kind of interesting to think, can create a difficult sleep, even though alcohol itself is considered a sedative or like a depressant. You know, it like if you like, you know, you fall asleep while under the influence, like as you're coming out of it, or as you're like, you know, quote unquote sobering up, or your body's metastasizing all that stuff that's in your system, it can cause you to not fall into that deepest part of your sleep, which is REM, which is rapid eye movement stage in sleep, which is the actual deepest part of sleep where it's supposed to where your dreams or nightmares occur in. And so you actually throughout your sleep cycle, you're going through different levels of awakeness. So you're not like falling asleep and like throughout the rest of the night, like you're 8 hours or 6 hours of sleep, you're in REM sleep. No, you go from stage 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever of these different stages of sleep where you're fully awake, falling asleep. There's a few other stages. Rapid eye movement is when your body's basically at that paralyzed state. So people who are going through paralysis, like that's what happens. Like at that time, your brain tells your body to shut off all muscle movement or all voluntary muscle movement because you're still breathing, your heart's still pumping, your blood's still going through your system, all that jazz that you need to survive. But your brain's shutting off everything that it doesn't need at that time to be able to hone in and focus and take care and resorb and basically kind of like fix the damage of the day on your body so you get restful and be healthy and all that jazz. So during REM sleep, that's like the main healing, so to speak, of your sleep. And REM sleep cycle usually only lasts maybe like 8 to 10 minutes, like per cycle. So like you're going through your full bodies. I can't, I'm doing unfortunate justice, but like during your sleep, you're going through at least 4 to 5 different stages of your sleep, of this cycle, within like every like half hour, 45 minutes. So you're constantly cycling, even though it feels like as you're dreaming and you're sleeping throughout the night or having these nightmares, it feels like one continuously long dream or nightmare. It's actually happening in like 30-minute increments. And it's just like catching and continuing, which can cause for some people to like why their dreams change or their nightmares change maybe so drastically. We're like, oh, you're running through a house and now you're actually running through the woods and now you're, drowning through this water and this constant like chase is because your body's going through these different cycles. So yeah, it's really interesting. Back to the foods. Spicy foods can disturb your sound sleep because the spices increase your body's temperature, which alters dream formations during your REM cycle. Spicy food is often related to nightmares because the body requires more effort to digest these foods. And lastly, cheese. Cheese is rich in calories and fat, which eating dairy products before bed can result in, having nightmares or nightmare-ish dreams because the body is still functioning at full speed to be able to digest dairy and like certain cheeses, hindering your sleep restlessness. So like anything that you're like eating before bed, and I'm thinking like, your nightly snack or like, they say usually, you shouldn't eat at least 2 to 3 hours before going to sleep because if you're eating something, your body's digesting something. And then if you're going to bed right away, well then, yeah, your body's still working to digest this food out of your stomach. And how can it, shut down and stop doing these manual things while you still have food in your stomach, So very, very, very interesting. Like doctors say at least 12.5% of nightmares are caused by consumption of like junk foods, just and a whole. So your chips, your cheese curds, your pretzels with spicy cheese dip, which I am snacking on today. I got some spicy beer cheese dip with pretzels. I mean, very interesting to kind of think about that in like your body's way of telling you like, hey, maybe don't eat these things and maybe we won't have bad dreams. Pretty cool.
That is interesting. Who's coming?
It's very interesting. And then on the other note, I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, foods that cause nightmares or whatever. Like I've thought like, okay, well, what about, are there any foods that could stop nightmares or like kind of prevent your nightmares or whatever?
Yeah.
So they list like in my search like foods that could stop nightmares are more foods that are rich in calcium. They're rich in tryptophan, which is an amino acid that helps sleep and relaxation, or complex carbohydrates. So those are like the 3 lists of types of food, or food that have these high rich values. So rich in calcium, have a calming effect in the body, which is ironic because, of course, what foods are rich in calcium? You know, a lot of milk, yogurt, cheese, leafy greens, which is, you know, very high in calcium, but even like cottage cheese. So it's kind of like interesting, like, you know, too much cheese, not enough cheese. Don't eat the spicy cheese, you know? And like tryptophan is like is the amino acid that can help sleep and relaxation. It's, you know, known to be in, you know, a lot of meats. So your turkey, chicken, fish, eggs, nuts, even like some seeds can help. And like complex carbs or complete carbs would be like your whole grain bread, rice, brown rice, sweet potatoes. Those are all, I guess, calming, so to speak, foods. I don't know if you're, you know, I wouldn't still consider like eating, you know, really close to bed, because again, you're still digesting that food, but like thinking about foods in general that are good for your body, and good for a restful night's sleep are interesting things to think about. I even saw blue cheese. Blue cheese creates like vivid dreams, I guess, or like is a close relative to, you know, causing vivid dreams, not necessarily bad dreams or you know, nightmares or anything like that, but blue cheese apparently in a study was relatively close to related to people having vivid dreams, just because due to the bacterial cultures in the cheese, can cause vivid, weird, or memorable dreams. So very interesting. Naturally high levels of the amino acid triamine, which is in blue cheese, makes us feel alert. And this triamine basically causes the adrenal glands in your brain system to release the fight or flight hormone. So blue cheese creates fight or flight in your brain, which of course will not give you a restful night's sleep, but could definitely affect your sleep in general. Maybe have some weird, crazy dreams. Maybe not scary ones, but maybe you're like pogoing across the moon with Hitler and his pet banana. I don't know.
That sounds like a dream you've had, Kelly.
They're very specific.
No, it's not. It's not. But it would definitely be memorable. I don't know. Very interesting. So it kind of gives us something to think about as we are, you know, on our future quest for true crime, ghoulish things, maybe more nightmare stories, and the cheese that we eat. Very cool.
Insane.
Very cool.
Well, I liked all of those things I consume. I don't eat directly right before bed, but
right. Not, you know, I would say myself, I don't do that, but I do snack at night, especially if I don't have to get up early in the morning, and I'll have to keep track, like kind of thing, like, oh, I had a bad dream, or what was I eating last night, or something like that. That could be kind of cool thing to track.
I love that. You know what? It's kind of funny. Like, I remember being younger and telling my mom or dad stories, like my nightmares or dreams I had the night before, and my dad would always joke, like, "Well, what did you eat last night?" And I never understood.
Yeah.
I was
What
like,
are you talking about?
"Mom cooks pizza, spaghetti, yeah,
Yeah.
Junk food, sugar, everything bad for you is also causing nightmares.
You did a fun little treat after dinner." Now I'm dreaming real bad tonight. Oh God.
Yeah. So, or even if you're not having nightmares, like your diet and like what you eat definitely has an effect on your sleep too. So like if you're feeling like, oh, I didn't sleep good last night, or like I wake up, you know, still really tired or just not rested, it's like, oh, maybe change something in your food diet, or maybe, you know, not necessarily just snacking before bed, but just like throughout the day, you know. Interesting things.
That is interesting.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I liked that. I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, I love your Gouda.Murder shirt. How cute is that?
It's very cute.
Oh,
Isn't it
pretty. How cute is that?
my God, it's like we almost kind of planned it. Threw this thing on last minute. Luckily, I'm in my recording closet. Ha ha ha! And I was able to,
Damn,
go
girl, look
through.
at that studio.
I know,
The
damn.
professionalism.
And I bet she's not wearing pants because who wears pants when they record?
No, I'm wearing shorts
No one can see
because
that.
it's hot upstairs.
This one's not. Why is it?
Some of the lids I had to put to the side. Maybe I missed them. Take them off. I'm sorry.
No, I was just like, am I stupid or?
No, there were a couple that I felt out that I was like, oh, what is wrong? So with the Jello shot lids I bought, some of them are like morphed, so I can't get the lid on. Well, that one doesn't look nearly as bad. This one right here. Hold on. Where'd it go? Hey guys.
Very interesting. That's a derp. That's a derp.
Yep. I got a pile of derps.
Dang.
But anyway. You guys. Well, that was really cool. I very much enjoyed that. Not so true crime related, not very ghostly, but still I like this.
It's on
This is
theme.
fun. As I'm drinking coffee before bed.
Yeah, you're drinking your caffeine before bed, eating cheese number 1, rich in calories and fat.
I don't drink caffeine.
Keep
your
body. Yeah.
Brie is 99% Red Bull.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
But
That's what night shift will do to you. I don't know how to survive without it anymore.
Yeah.
All right, let me finish my
Your car.
Well, if you guys got any questions or concerns, you can email us at Gouda.Murder@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Gouda.Murder Pod. We got Facebook, Gouda.Murder Podcast Official.
Hell yeah.
And YouTube, Gouda.Murder Podcast, I believe official as well.
On this thing here, they're seeing our faces.
Anyway,
Haha.
Thanks for listening and stay fresh.
Cheese bags.
Brie. She's just standing there. Hey, guys.